10% late than 100% early. Yeah. The fact that IBM's a 2 down month, Dow Jones is a 2 month, Qs and SPY did that this week, which we talked about Monday. All of those 2 down, that tells you they're selling the whole market indiscriminately. They want out. The only thing that we've identified that they're not really selling is this, utilities. Yeah, Intel's a great example of this. So 2-2 on the day Intel, they gap down into this. If you're short to that, you're like, give me my money, I need to get out. It's like, no, not a single 2 up at all, not once. So that tells you it's still good. The market will tell you the winners. No, I'm not going most out. If a month is in force, the day is going to be, it's corrective. The day is corrective. If the month is in force, the day is corrective. Anytime it's 2 up is corrective. And yeah, I'm diamond handing a good chunk of it on the weekly basis for sure. Because how are you going to reverse that? Why would I get out? If I bump my stop down into here, they're going to stop me out and then go the other way. That's what they do. And if IWM is going from here to here still, 187, and I have no reason to believe it's going back up, why would I get out? If like the same way, if we just go back to the previous weeks, like SPY, if you're bumping your stop nice and tight in here, you're getting out and out and out and out. But if you took this 2-2 and you're like, I'm just going to hold, I'm a weekly guy, boom. And then right here, you short. You see? And that's after all the pivot targets are taken out. And the month, this tells you that's all still happening. So anytime the month is 2 up like this, if you don't have a 2 down week, that's all still good. The week controls what the month does, tells you if they're in force. And then the day controls if the weekly guys are in force. And the 60 tells you if that's happening right now or not. While the month is still good, 50%, if I have enough time on my contracts, I'm not gonna hold everything on a daily up. Like, so this is the thing. There's different types. Like if IWM gaps up and it's a 2 up here, I'm not gonna close on that. I didn't. I told you guys like not to yesterday. I was like, no, we're gonna wait for this if this gap up and sells, because that's what we can expect. Because that doesn't change what the week is doing from here. It's nowhere near changing that. And yeah, it went from 193 to 196. So be it. If I believe it's going from 200 to 160, what's $3? And we have reason to believe that because magnitude tells us that. But this is the thing though. If it's actually going down there, we don't expect the week to come up, if that makes sense. Like we might get an inside week. And if that happens, we're just like, we're rubbing our hands together. We're like, all right, give me the inside bar add measured move. Like if we go inside next week, yeah, I might take some off to not lose to theta since I have next month's. But I'm going to add back with an extra month with their money I already took. Dude's just confident. Well, you can be. When the month looks like this is where you should be. Like, I know not everyone in here is on Rob's stuff all the time, like in the streams and whatnot. But Rob, he would just sit there and he'd be like, when we know, we know. And he'd sit there, he'd be like, some days he'd be like, yeah, I'm not taking a trade till Thursday afternoon. Like the whole week, he wouldn't do anything. And then he'd be like, all right, right here. Boom. And that's it. But you don't get that. You don't get that type of trading when you're going into recent highs. You get it when you do this, 2-2 back through a previous range. That's where we can be as confident as all, because the month guys, the week guys, the day guys, all of those are down. And then when the 60 goes in here, we'd be like, slap it. Higher Timeframes swing rate. Well, like if it's going to reverse, there'll be a weekly reversal first, and there's going to be a daily reversal first. So like energies, this is a great example. From here all the way up into here. Now, when this goes 2-2, how much did you get back if you're just holding out for the weekly? You gave back 3.4%. So from here to the monthly, you made 10%, and you're giving back 3% of their money. At the most, like right there. And what I did is last week, we talked about getting out of those. Because it's closer to 2 down. But if you're closing at the highs like this, you're nowhere near reversal. The times when you have to worry about reversal are when you have really small weekly candles. When they're big like this, how are you reversing that? You have to be confident that that's not going to be a reversal, because it's not. You'd have to go from here 91 to 87, and it's just not happening. So when I look at IWM, I don't look at that and be like, oh, it might spike up and become a big hammer. I look at that and I'm like, what are you going to do to me? The problem comes as well as when you're trading stuff that's just inside here doing nothing, and then you get the big candle on the week. Like, you're like, oh, I've been watching this one for 2 weeks, and finally, big break. And then it creates a triangle, and then you get killed. If you're trading with the month and the quarter and all that stuff, that doesn't happen. It just keeps going. Like ARC, first of all, what did we say with ARC going into the new quarter? ARC and IWM will tell you if the market's crashing. 322 here. And what does that do? Weakest IWM part, it's quartering down here. So that's confirming everything we know. But up in here, when this quarter breaks, if you're not taking this out, that breaks good, right? And then it pukes for years, or for a year, all the way down. And then once you hit your magnitude, now we're done. Get out. And you can see this 2-2 month never got reversed, which told you that when this came back in, it's like, yeah, they're gone. They're done. Or 2-2 quarter, I mean. If you go to the month here and scroll back in ARC, not a single 2-up month because the quarter is doing that. And if you go onto the week, if you're going to micromanage on the week, even though you shouldn't, look at this. Oh my gosh, a 2-up week. Get me out, get me out. It's like, nope, triangle out. Boom. And then right here, get me out, get me out. My shorts up here, they're, oh. And then boom, they kill him again. And then 2-2-2 again. Now the 3 in here. So if you have closer ones, it's like, yeah, get out. Then the 2-2 here, back into this 3. Yeah, get me short. Add here, takes out the lows. No reversal against. You get from here to another $14 down. Yeah. Well, it's based on control. So we have time frame continuity, which is the month, the week, the day, and the 60. Then you also have intraday continuity, which is the 60, 30, and 15s. Or sometimes like people use the 5-er instead of the 15. But it's mostly 30, 60 is your intraday continuity. When it's really volatile, then it's like 60, 15, 30, 5, 1. It's not always like that though. But then that same thing applies to like year, quarter, month, right? So if the quarter is going somewhere and the year is going somewhere, they confirm each other, giving you control. Because if the quarter is ever red, the year is still green. So you still have guys to fall back on. Now, if you're a weekly guy and you're trading with the quarter and the year and the month, if the week goes 2 up and the month is red, the quarter is red, the year is red, you still have that really strong period of control where 3 time frames are all red. So we can really confidently say this is triangle out. Because at that point, the year is red, the month is red, all of that's red. Now, when you get a new monthly flip or something, that's why we have the decoupling. Because if the month flips and the month's green, but the quarter is red and the year is red, the month could change on the second week of the month. And the same thing happens on the quarter. Like first month of the quarter, that can get changed by the second month. Which since we use the month, the week, the day, and the 60, we can trade the first month down. If it changes, then we take it the other way. Well, the flips, this is the thing. So for a quarter guy, I don't know. This isn't a good example because they're just selling it. But if you're a quarter guy, you can reduce on the flip. Yeah, you might have 3 months where it's against you. Sure, that's fine. But if you're trading the trend, that's an inside bar. So did they reverse anything? No, still good. Unless there's a 2 up, it's still good. 2 going 3 on the quarter flip, like it pokes down and then starts coming back in, you can reduce a little bit. But unless it's a 2-2 month, that 2 going 3 quarter, you don't have, like, this is the thing you have to understand. Price will trade in the direction of the most 2s and 2s going 3, period. So if you have a 2 down and green quarter, and it's the first month of the quarter, and it's continuity change, the year is bright red, all of that's still good. If the month is also a 2 going 3, the only period of control you would have is the 2 up week for 1 week. And then once the next week opens, the quarter and month are 2 down. So if the sellers come back, they're still in control. It's a 2 down month and a quarter, right? That's why when you trade potential 3s, Like when we're trading a potential 3 day, we're looking at the 60. We're like, is the 60 confirming the day? Because if it's not, we don't have a 2 down on the day, which tells us the sellers are not in control on the daily basis. So we can't base our trade just off of that for an intraday guy. We need a 2 down 60 because that is a downtrend. So when we're looking at like ES is a great example of this with the outside quarter and the outside month. So when this quarter is 2 up in red, that's still a 2 up, right? It's red, so it's getting countered, but that's still a 2 up. We can't make trades there. When the month is 2 up in red, that's still a 2 up. There is no trade to be taken besides like a 2 up red, potential 3 short, which is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about control. When the week is a 2-2 reversal, or actually a 3, it's like below this, that's a 3. So now you have a 2 to the downside, except it's not on the week, it's on the daily, which was also at that point a 3. But now we go into the next week. This is a 2 down week, so now you get a whole week to do that. Then once this closes, what are you closer to doing? 2 up or 2 down? 2 down. So now the weekly guys, they're still doing that, coming back through the quarter and the year and all of that, or the quarter and the month. So the 2 down week gives you the control of that. And then when you go on the daily, since we know that for certain, 2 down in green day, yeah, it's closer to a 2 up, which we want to know about. But if it doesn't do that, that's still a 2 down day. And then it goes 2 down again. Now the week's red, everything's going down. Closer to 2 down again, goes 2 down again. Closer to 2 down again, goes 2 down again. So we want to trade in the direction of the 2s and 2s going 3. But when we make trades, we're trading off the 2. So like a 2 go 3 day, we're trading the 2-2-60 or the 2-2-30. A 2 going 3 quarter, we're trading the week, we're trading the month, etc. Yeah, no. So if we go to, so like for example, monthly SPY, we did not have the 2 on the month to start, so we could not make a monthly trade. There's no signal. When the week goes 2-2 here, that is a signal. So if it's going to crash the month, it'll do this first. And that was a simultaneous break, which told us they just sold the whole market on the weekly basis. They came back and sold more. That told us they're selling, right? The third week comes back and they sell more. Did it open higher? It did. But was it a 2 up? It was not. Now the month is a 2 down. Any 2 up week we have, if that month is in force, it's attempting to negate that, which we'll know about. But if it doesn't, nothing changes. So we'd expect it to be corrective unless it could negate it. So like going into next week, it's not happening. You're not going to be a 2 up. So that doesn't negate anything. A 2 down in green, it's attempting to, but it's still a 2 down. So the monthly and weekly sellers are still in control. You give it more room when you have evidence to believe it should continue. When the week looks like this, yeah, I'm going to leave the 60 because why would I get out of that? The week looks like that, and it still has all of the rest of the day and tomorrow. When things occur matters. Now, if we're trading Monday on the gap up sell, when that works, the week already looks like this. It's taking this out, 509. It traded from 515 to 503. So it's $6 below that. How are you going to be a 2 going 3 week at that point? You're not. Why would I close that? Right? So like you're not reversing this. Period. You can't. A reversal would be taking this out, and you're just not going to do that. And we can confidently say that because you're not. You can't take that out next week.